Hello everybody, the Great Dino Ranger here again, back with another review. Today we're going to be taking a look at another Christmas item, and that is the Jurassic World Dominion Roar Strikers Sinoceratops. So this is not really much of a new figure, but this is a new repaint of a previous dinosaur that was released a couple times back then from Mattel, and this is just another version, which I of course love getting multiples of herbivores so I can build my herds and all that kind of stuff. So I'm super excited to have another Sinoceratops, and yeah, there's really nothing too special about it. It's just a random repaint with a few like modifications for like the action feature and all that. But here's a brief look at the front of the packaging, which is the normal stuff we've been seeing, and then here's the back of the packaging. You know, shows you the logos and the how the action feature works and all the other figures you can get, which I already have. I've reviewed the others. The Liopleurodon and Iguanodon. The Megaraptor is going to be coming up next after this one, so stay tuned for that, and go back and watch those other videos if you want. But, you know, that's basically it for the packaging here. Let's go ahead and take this figure out. Alright, so here we have the Roar Strikers Sinoceratops out of the box. This is a very nice figure. I've always liked the Sinoceratops figure that Mattel released, I think back in the Primal Attack toy line. I believe they released two different color variants, and I've always liked that figure. It was awesome to get an actual accurate-looking Sinoceratops figure, and yeah, after the Pachyrhinosaurus that they added in 2018, which was supposed to be a Sinoceratops, but they changed it, so it's nice to get an actual movie-accurate version. And yeah, this one, even though it doesn't have the movie paint or movie colors, it does look really awesome overall. Taking a look at the detail on the head on these figures are so good, especially these ceratopsians. Like, you got all these line creases on the horns and the beak, and these little line textured wrinkly parts all over the face, and the frill is just covered in awesome scales all over the frill. It looks awesome. Even the spikes are nicely sculpted as well. All over the place. This thing is like decked out in like spikes, and you can just see on this side too, just the overall detail and sculpt work that Mattel put into this figure, as well as their other ones. It just looks awesome. It just looks perfect. And here on the back of the frill, just a lot of beautiful scales that are just literally covering the entire frill, and obviously you got those signature holes in the frill there. And then you know, moving on to the arm right here, just nice wrinkly textures and some little bumps sticking out. The overall body of Sinoceratops really reminds me of a rhino. Just the way it looks, especially the feet and just some of the wrinkles, it really reminds me of a rhino, especially the ribs showing off there. I believe this guy was originally supposed to be a Pachyrhinosaurus in 2018's Fallen Kingdom, so I can kind of see they want to make it look like a rhino because of the name. But you know, just taking a look at this figure, it looks just like a rhino. I think it's so cool. And just the overall detail on the little osteoderm bumps and pebble scales sticking out, and just the cool little details on the top. And here on the legs, you got some nice little muscle definition. They're very matching like that of a rhino, and some more nice little scale work and wrinkly rough textures all throughout the entire body, including the tail. So this thing is very, very good looking in terms of the sculpt work and the detail all over this figure. Just looks really nice. And just even on the top of the body too, very nice little scales going on there. Kind of a lot of detail you don't actually see in the movies because they're always moving by so fast. Here you can really appreciate all the detail here. And then here's the little scan code that all these figures have now, so you can pause the video and take a look at that if you want to. And yeah, this thing is just very beautiful in terms of just overall appearance and the sculpt work. The colors are very nice too. I like the greens. Sinoceratops is always going to be green in my opinion because of Jurassic Park. And the nice addition of the yellow on the tail makes it look more complete, which I like. And you got a little bit more yellow on the face and the frill. Make it stand out. Would have been nice to see more color on the underbelly of the dinosaur, but this green kind of looks very nice overall, and the horns are painted nicely as well. And here for the front arms here, they can move forwards and backwards only. they can't go 360, and they can pivot in and out just a tiny bit. The back legs here are, they can move forwards and backwards, not 360, but they kind of click in different places. That's mainly used for the action feature. And then the tail has a movement joint there. And then, yeah, that's basically it for articulation. Not very much going on there. But for the action feature, you just push on the dinosaur's bottom and it makes noise. Alright, so those are the sounds and action features. The sounds sound really good, much like a Triceratops or I think a Sinoceratops, but overall herbivore sounds and it works perfect. The action feature is normal for the Roar Strikers. For comparisons, here it is next to a human. I think the scale very nicely together. You definitely get a good sense of how huge this dinosaur's head is compared to human. That's pretty massive and probably not something you want to run into. For the other comparisons here, we're going to compare it with the other two Sinoceratops figures that Mattel has released. I believe it was 2020 or early 2021, one of those two. But yeah, here we have all three Sinoceratops figures from Mattel, and they all look very nice together. Obviously, the two I just brought in are more movie accurate in terms of colors, but and then the middle one is just more of a different color scheme that Mattel came up with. But you know, they all look really nice together, and they all have really cool action features. So yeah, they all look very nice, and they all sound very similar. So it's cool to have a cool little group shot of all these different Sinoceratops figures. And one thing I did notice too is that the middle horns on the two older ones are painted, whereas the new one aren't, which kind of bothers me just a little bit. Really wish they were painted. But the cheek spikes are not painted on all of them. Would have been nice if those were painted as well, because they kind of paint all the other horns on the other Ceratopsians sometimes. So don't know what was going on with Mattel there, but overall, these all look very nice together. And hopefully we get more Sinoceratops figures in the future, because I'm really enjoying these species overall and the figure that Mattel has been giving us. So that's about to wrap it up for this review. It's a pretty quick one because it's a dinosaur that we've already seen already, and there's not much to cover because we've already covered this figure multiple times. But overall, this is a very nice figure. It's nice to get another Sinoceratops. The colors, the detail are great. The action features are awesome. And yeah, everything about this figure is pretty awesome in my opinion. And yeah, that's basically it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this review, and I'll see you guys again for the next one.